He could do everything. He's as good as it gets. He's as good as it gets. He's the most complete fighter on the roster because he submits people. Like he submitted Poirier in the final round.
Yeah.
Incredible submission. But he was winning that fight already.
Yeah.
But then, you know, he can also knock you out. He literally does everything. He's one of the best wrestlers in the sport. His top control and his squeeze is insane.
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle, he might struggle.
MMA pros are sounding the alarm, delivering stark warnings to Jack Della Maddalena ahead of his showdown with Islam Makhachev. Gilbert Burns, who has fought in multiple divisions, supported Islam's move to welterweight, saying the cut to 155 was always a struggle, and that 170 might actually suit him better. He believes a fight against Jack would be far closer than many assume, especially with Jack preparing with elite minds like Alexander Volkanovski and Craig Jones. Burns admitted he hadn't studied the matchup in depth, but expects a highly competitive contest.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proven himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think, and JDM has a clear shot.
On the other hand, Israel Adesanya is confident that Jack has what it takes to beat Islam, pointing to his frame, strength, and relentless activity in scrambles. He emphasized that Jack's aggressive pressure could eventually exhaust Islam, especially if his takedown attempts don't succeed. Ian Gary acknowledged that calling the result was difficult, praising Islam's all-around abilities, but noting that stepping up a division always adds unpredictability. He highlighted that Jack is naturally bigger than Volkanovski and possesses excellent takedown defense and striking, all factors that could cause major issues for Islam.
I think Della is going to get it done. I feel from talking to Tim and also seeing Della, and also I've only spotted Della once, like not really hard crazy, but and I didn't try and take him down at all, but I've seen him at your gym sparring, and his scrambles are crazy.
Yeah, he's
even watching him with Bilal as well, and Gilbert Burns. His scrambles are crazy, and I feel Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because when he puts some things on him, he's like, I'm standing with this guy, I have to take him down. And then he tries, gets him down, and he gets back up, or he couldn't get him down, because he's a big dude. People don't realize how big Della is as well. He's solid. So I really
dense,
think,
man, just dense.
Dense, yeah. Like when I felt, like I said, we're sparring, and then it's just a weight behind it, and the way he throws it, the body banging, man. Good.
Javier Mendez, Islam's longtime coach, made it clear that they wanted this matchup and are fully prepared. He praised Islam's tireless training, calling him a completely different level of opponent than anyone Jack has ever faced. He also pointed out that welterweight physically suits Islam, as he will no longer be undersized. But Philip Rowe expressed complete confidence in Jack, arguing that Islam lacks the frame to handle larger welterweights, and that Jack's punching power and ability to rebound from takedowns would overwhelm him, predicting a finish before the fight even reaches the judges.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part, even on the ground. I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does and going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, you know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, you know, Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, you know, the weight is not super big for him either. So he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight. You've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So We'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
I think Islam Makhachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, "Keep it shiny, keep it nice for me." JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the talking has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilya versus Islam Makhachev just now.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, you know, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. We need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
Henry Cejudo predicted Islam would become a two-division champion, while Kamaru Usman threw his support behind Jack, praising his calmness and saying he has the right skills to defend his belt. Jack Hermanson took a more cautious stance, pointing out that while Islam has been nearly untouchable at lightweight, that dominance might not translate to welterweight. He praised Jack showing against Bilal Muhammad, but wanted to see more before ranking him among the true elite.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I've faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division, Bilal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
I think it's a super difficult fight for Islam, this one. He's like... obviously, he's faced Volk twice. We'll forget about the second one, but the first one, very competitive with the grappling. And now we're talking about he's facing a guy that's some of the best scrambling ability, I think, period, in all of MMA, and some of the most unorthodox grappling. And I think that's what Bilal struggled with. Bilal really just sticks to a blueprint. The blueprint obviously works very well.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson gave his thoughts on the obstacles Islam might face, noting that many welterweights cut down from over 205 pounds, making size and strength crucial factors. He recognized Makhachev's outstanding grappling, but reminded everyone that Jack has already faced strong wrestlers. And Craig Jones, who previously helped Volkanovski prepare for Islam, predicted that Jack would be one of his toughest challenges yet, pointing to his unusual grappling style and skill at breaking grips.
But in terms of creativity in what Bilal does, I think it's pretty strict. Jack, as you saw in that fight, some of his off balances and grip breaks and some of the things he does, it's really hard to prepare for that. So I think like Islam, the size difference is going to be quite a lot bigger than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground. and how much Islam struggled with him in the grappling exchanges. And having seen Jack and Volks work together, seeing the skill sets, like this is a perfect one. The UFC want guys that stand and bang. I'm trying to still help them out, even though potentially enemies.
So you feel confident about this one?
Yeah, very, very confident for this one.
Tonight belonged to Jack Della Maddalena. He's an awesome human being. I've sat down with him several times and had some conversations. Nice guy, quiet guy, a man of few words. But I tell you what, that was an incredible fight tonight. And he'll take on Islam Makhachev. He doesn't care. He wants to be a part of the biggest fights possible. Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. That's the fight that's going to happen.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam. Shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
So you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. It's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Michael Bisping praised Jack, saying his win over Bilal Muhammad marked a defining point in his career and set him up for this massive test. Aljamain Sterling, however, declared that Jack would dominate Islam, highlighting his physical presence and sharp mid-range striking as key factors that would limit Islam's chances to shoot effectively. Dan Hardy questioned whether Islam could handle the bigger size and higher stamina demands of a 5-round fight at welterweight. And finally, Jorge Masvidal called the matchup a major test for both, leaning slightly toward Islam, but admitting Jack's solid takedown defense and advantages in striking speed and power could make it a very tough night for the former lightweight king.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or, you know, he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, you know, on any day, you know, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev. But Della Maddalena looked very, very sharp against Bilal. And I wonder what Makhachev would look like as a welterweight, you know, whether he would look as strong and as lean or whether he would look heavier and, you know, potentially gas himself out because he'd been straight into a 5-round fight, wouldn't he?
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is, though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he could beat if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que... Ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo, é outra.
I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's going to be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Bilal.
Bilal has the best cardio in MMA, but Bilal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Bilal never stops. A dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so share them in the comment section below and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.